Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of The Magic Hour. I'm your host, Majid Andary, a.k.a. Magic Leb. Please be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and to follow me on my YouTube at Majid Andary. Today, I have a very funny guest, incredibly talented comedian, the man that has two last names. Please welcome Jackson Grunt.
Hello, good to
How's
be
it going?
here.
Yeah,
Good.
Thanks for being here, man. Much appreciated.
I had to be here to return the favor of, I want to tell the story of how we met.
Okay.
Because
It's a bromance story.
It's a bromance story. It's like a road trip. No, we both drove from Sydney to Darwin, searching for your long lost love.
Oh, yeah.
No, we, so there was a room here in Adelaide called the Wakanda Comedy Club.
That's where we met, the Wakanda. That's right.
Which was run by Calais Michael, very funny comedian. And you came and filmed. I'd never met you before, and you rocked up with 3 different cameras, set everything up, and I was doing the sound, so you were asking me a bunch of questions, and I was helping you kind of get it right. But you were so professional, and I was used to, because I helped run a room there before in the same venue called Chuckles Comedy, and we had this Russian guy that one of the comedians who performed was paying to film our show, and he's big Russian guy, and he said, I was a photographer in Russia. I used to take photos of the president. And I'm like, well, if you were taking photos of the president, but you fled Russia, you're no longer there. Maybe you weren't the best photographer, but what do I know?
Taking pictures of the president. Why are you here? That's a huge demotion.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just like I've gone from taking photos of Putin to filming open mic in Adelaide.
Talk about a step down.
Yeah. He was a good guy. He was professional. My one pet peeve was he would get in the middle of the audience. So you have the audience, you have probably like 6 rows of people, and he's right in the middle with his big camera, similar setup to you, very tall tripod, very big camera, and people behind him couldn't see.
Yeah.
And I would say, no, get to the side. He's like, that's a bad angle.
Well, I understand what he's getting at in terms of bad angle. Because you do want a front angle, but that's where the audience is sitting. Yeah. So you have to try to work your way around that. Unless you got a camera in it positioned in a way where it doesn't annoy the audience, it's kind of difficult. Unless you arrange the seats around the camera, had the camera in position in the middle. But I did what I could with that angle. That's why I took the other 2 shots. I had one very close on the side, and I had one that would show the audience, because I like to get audience reaction. Reaction videos now are a major thing. So I like to get reaction of the audience to our comedy, because we want to, as comedians, I feel like we can feed off that reaction. If I said, if this is what I said that made them act this way, I wonder how they react if I said this or said it in a different way.
I find it very interesting. Well, my point was that you also filmed 2 days later that was on YouTube. It's on your channel. If people want to go and look at the Wakanda comedy, don't watch my set because I bombed horribly. I was testing new stuff.
I saw your set. You didn't bomb. I thought you were very flamboyant. No, you were. You had so much energy on stage. I was laughing. I had this conversation with all of my guests. I've asked them, have you ever had a set that did so well with one audience and the exact same set that you did for another completely went the opposite direction? Yeah. And then a lot of people say, all the time.
Yeah.
It happened to me. I had a bit which I like to call my the Vagisil's bit. Vagisil. Yeah. Because what it is, right, is I talked about how I've been discovered. And this company thought that I was funny. They wanted to endorse me. They wanted me to endorse a product for them. They wanted to support me. And I said, yes, I'll sign on the dotted line. But I had no idea until this morning that I was sponsoring a feminine hygiene product. So I start my show with, let me just get the first tagline out the way, Vagisil. So I just start with that. And every joke that I have will always relate to a woman's vagina. So when it gets to that point, I go back to the tagline of what Vagisil does. Yeah. And I had all these funny taglines if you have a surprise between your thighs, get Vagisil. Another tagline was, when you start to feel the itch, then buy this cream, you silly bitch. And then, it's it kept on going in that direction. And it worked. It killed in all the places. I did it at the Rhino Room, got nothing. I got nothing. All right? 2 guys came up to me after the show and they said to me, fuck that crowd. that was funny. And I was also, you're the only one that was laughing because I heard somebody laugh. That was you. Yeah, 'cause I don't know what the fuck their problem was, man. That Vagisil shit was funny. I was like, okay, thank God, but it didn't do well that night.
The problem is it was 2 guys that came and told you it was funny, and the rest of the audience were 98 women. So
No. The thing is, you know who laugh at this the most? Women.
Yeah.
Women laugh at this the most. I have on my Instagram, I have my Vagisil skit that I did on stage, and you hear women laughing in the background more than you hear the guys.
Yeah.
You know, and because women can relate to what's going on down there more than we can, you know? All right. And it worked like gangbusters, and it just didn't work this time. And I was like, damn, what's going on? But, you know, I didn't let it faze me. I still want to do it again, but you have to, sometimes you can tell what you're going to get from the audience by being around them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you see them, you know what's going to make them laugh and what's not going to make them laugh. I've been in front of an audience saying, oh, shit, they're not going to like my stuff. And that happened.
It's very hard to do in 5 minutes because you can go to an open mic and you can be listening to other people's jokes and think they're responding to this kind of joke, they're responding to that. But it's very hard when you're also trying not to forget your set, especially if it's new material. And what I think is a lot easier is... Well, now I'm doing longer sets than when I started, but you got to have a bit of a variety of jokes, like a tasting platter of just throw a few things out and see what they respond to. Like maybe something that's more political, maybe something that's a bit more edgy or offensive, or maybe something that's a bit more absurd.
Yeah.
And you can do it in a way where it's not completely like whiplash of styles, but you can see what people are responding to. And then you lean to that avenue.
Like, do you ever perform, like when you hang out, if you're invited to a party or a gathering, and you're meeting people for the first time, you don't know who they are, and they don't know who you are, and you're getting along with them. Do you ever like audition your jokes to strangers that you haven't met to see how well if it would work that you can use on stage or not use on stage?
Yeah, I've tested material, but I don't. So with strangers, when I meet people for the first time, I have a very bad habit of making a joke before they know my sense of humor. So they think I'm a weirdo. And I have a very dark sense of humor. So I'll say something that's just, sounds sadistic. And to me, it's like, it's such a horrendous thing to say. It's funny, but they don't know me, so they don't know I'm joking. Okay. But I don't test material on strangers. I test material on my friends. And when I get called out for it, it's very funny.
So what made you get into comedy to begin with?
I really liked watching comedy growing up. I think this is the most standard story you're going to hear from most Australian comedians is the Channel 10 Melbourne International Comedy Festival galas. It's, for some reason, the early 2000s, Channel 10 was showing so much stand-up comedy because it's cheap.
Oh, really?
And... yeah, just seeing like Will Anderson and Adam Hills and even Hughesy, a lot of good, Sam Simmons especially. These were comedians that were getting up and they would just be doing like 5 or 10 minutes in these galas. But I was really like, I don't know, I just wanted to do it. Maybe it's because I was a neglected child and I just see all the positive response they're getting. But I'm like, I want to do this. And I would start to like stand in front of my dad in the living room and start telling jokes like what's the deal with bedtimes, whatever. I was joking at that stage. I just kind of wanted to do it, and I got into acting when I was very young. When I was probably 8, I started doing like improv classes. Okay,
well, I'm so happy that you said you got into acting because I am looking to cast a character in one of my sketches.
Well, you told me, I think this is a funny story to tell on the podcast, is you said you asked me to do a sketch for you, and I was very busy at the time, but you're like, do you want to be in the sketch? I'm like, absolutely. It's like, okay, I want you to play a gay guy called Richard.
That's right. Because there are two. There's a gay couple. Both of them are named Richard.
Yeah.
Richard and Richard.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away. All right. I don't want because I'm really. I've casted. I had two gay guys. I had two characters that wanted to play
gay guys here last night.
I had two actors that wanted to play the gay guy. Yeah. But one of the guys said, "You know what? I don't think I can do it justice." Right? It's not like I don't want to play it. It's just that I don't think this is so funny. I don't think I can live up to making it this funny. Yeah. And I said, but dude, you're an actor. Give it a shot. And we had a reading and everything. And at the end, he said, this is so funny, and I think I'm going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
All right, I can't do this one.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, damn it! Now I gotta find a soulmate for my other character's soulmate. All right, so I'm looking for the second Richard.
Yeah.
The first Richard is on board. He was giving me ideas, man. He was so into it because he's an actor. So you've read the script, you understand the concept, right?
I think I have.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. Well, I wanted to get it done before the end of this month.
Yeah.
But we're already at the end of the month.
Yeah.
All right. So now I gotta recast. So anyway, we'll talk about this later. But if you're willing to play Richard, all right, then yes, I always have room for Dick. So how long have you been doing comedy though?
I've been doing comedy for 5 years, a bit longer.
Yeah?
I started at the start of 2020. So
I started 2020.
I did
COVID.
I think we have very similar origins where I just did my first open mic and then, the whole world shut down and it became very difficult to perform in public spaces.
Well, I never have had difficulty performing.
just
whether in public places or whatever. I don't.
Yeah.
No. I started in 2020 as well during the whole just when the pandemic started to loosen up and places started to open again, to reopen. Yeah. I never had any problem with that. The only bad night I had was at that Rhino. So anyway, now who's your favorite comedian?
Oh, my favorite comedian. That's a difficult. Who is my favorite comedian at the moment?
There's so many. I know it's like picking what's your favorite movie or what's your favorite song. It's hard.
Yeah. That is a very hard one. I don't know. I don't really like it. No, okay. Probably stand-up would be Steve Hughes.
Okay, yeah.
I really like Steve Hughes. He was someone who blew my mind in high school. Him and Jim Jeffries, when I saw them when I was in high school, it was it kind of went from I was into stand-up on this sense of these are the guys on TV. But when I saw both of their specials back to back when I first got Netflix. I mean, Hughes' stuff is on YouTube, but I really liked how blunt it was, and I liked the political satire element. And even Jim Jeffries, I don't even agree with a lot of his political views, but he's very good at painting a picture and making a good point.
His spots are impeccable. He's terrific. He's really good.
And he doesn't shove things down people's throats, which I like as well. I think a lot of political comedy, especially now, it's if you're not of the opinion of the comic, then you're the butt of the joke, and it's almost like propaganda. And I think a good satirist just makes you think, puts you in that uncomfortable situation, challenges your views, but doesn't mock you either way. I think.
I love that bit that he did about the whole gun laws in the States.
Classic,
I think that was the only part he really rubbed America's face in it. Yeah, he rubbed all the gun nuts' faces in it.
Absolutely, but it's still so funny because he's acting out that Oscar Pistorius acting out going to get the gun vault and stuff. It's still on a fundamental level. He's just a good physical comic.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great. No, he does. No, he does. I've seen it. He's not physical, but he acts it out for you.
Yeah.
Like Jim Carrey. Have you ever seen his stand-up? He had done stand-up.
Jim Carrey.
Guy, that physical comedy, fuck. I don't know anybody that can do those moves unless you're a calisthenic person.
Jim Carrey is probably the reason why I'm doing comedy, because I'm watching his movies growing up, and I've seen a lot of his stand-up as well. His physicality is amazing. When I was a kid, because I saw an interview with him and he said how he got his face to be that rubbery is he practiced it, because these are all muscles in the face. It's just like with your bicep. You can develop it and train it to be more flexible and strengthen.
Oh, yeah. He would spend hours in front of the mirror doing that shit.
And when I heard that, I started doing that in the mirror too. What I really wanted to do, and I've never gotten this, was try to make one eyebrow lift and the other not. And it was something that I used to practice, and I've kind of lost it. Well, and I thought, if I can make that happen, I'll have a comedy career. Just the eyebrow lift is so funny.
As a Lebanese person, I used to have a monobrow. I'm not ashamed to say that. I waxed this, right? And it used to be full on, they was completely conjoined, like a caterpillar, right? And I used to say to them, "You want to see me lift up one eyebrow?" Yeah, and I used to do that, just put them both up because it was one.
Good.
Yeah, I think that was my very first joke I ever told without even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Now, this is a question I want to ask you. Okay, do you feel that stand-up has changed in any way in terms of boundaries? Like, has comedy changed, or do you feel the generation of people have changed?
Well, I think the biggest flaw with modern stand-up comedy is not so much about like people's political sensibilities, because I think things were very non-politically correct in the 2000s, and then 2010s overcompensated, became very like cagey. You can't joke about anything, and you'd have like formerly problematic people coming out on stage and saying, "Oh, but I've got a gay friend, I can say this, whatever." But now 2020s, it's swung back to the 2000s. It feels like every 10 years you just go, it's really politically incorrect, and now it's politically correct. And now it's like most of the popular comedy is going to be the real offensive stuff, and then people are going to get tired of that, and it's going to go back the other way. Everyone's got taste, but I think the biggest change in modern comedy to previous comedy is we've gone from like one-liner comics and jokes that are just jokes to storytelling comedians being the most commercially successful. It seems like storytelling has overtaken like Rodney Dangerfield, I think, is, and there's a lot, and
the king
of
like, one-liners.
Yeah, he was the king of one-liners, but like you look at like Rodney Dangerfield, or you look at Richard Pryor, or you look at a lot of older stand-ups, and maybe it's because they're the ones that have stood the test of time because they're so timeless, but it seems there was a bit more of a, you're just bullshitting, you're making stuff up because it's funny. Like, it's just a joke, whereas now a lot of modern comedians, and maybe it's because the 1 hour special is like the default format, but to fill that time, they have to tell a story. And sometimes it's like a 20-minute story about doing shrooms at a music festival that is about as funny as, punching yourself in the balls. Yeah. But that's kind of what is expected now. So storytelling comedy, I think, is the real enemy, not political correctness.
Yeah, like real enemy in what sense? Like it would fail.
The enemy of comedy, the enemy of laughter.
Okay, there you go.
I don't want to sit down. I think there's nothing worse for me than sitting down
and listen
for
to a story.
Hour. I think boring stand-up comedy is like, because I'm, being used to doing acting, and I love theatre as well. Like I love the Fringe Festival, and like I went over to Edinburgh a few years ago, not to do comedy, just to watch fucking plays and stuff. But because I love live performance, I can watch bad theatre for an hour and just, But if I sit down and I'm in for a 1 hour of a storytelling comic, I know I'm in for a bad time.
Well, yeah, at least, but it's not such a bad thing because you've learned what not to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, or you can see what could have been funny that he didn't pick up on.
Yeah,
and take it as yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think I like take material from people, but it is a good writing exercise to go and watch a comic. And if you, because there's so many comedians that maybe they're not funny or don't get a great response from the audience, but they're funny because you see the ideas. You're a funny person. Do you think of this idea? It's just you haven't executed it. So it's like only writing is one part of comedy. There's so many different elements that it takes years and years and years to master. I used to think comedy was quite easy. It's very difficult.
No, I don't.
It's very hard.
Nothing. If I've learned anything in my 46 years on this earth, like nothing that's worth having ever comes easy.
No, absolutely.
And it took me a long time to figure that out. Not 46 years. I learned that like 20 years ago, but it took me another 26 years to really set that in because I really tried to go for something, and the more difficult it gets, the more rewarding it gets if you can accomplish it.
Yeah.
Now, was there? What would you say? Do you remember a gig that made you stand out finally from the others? For people to actually take notice. That's Jackson Grant.
I'll tell you when it happens.
Okay, so, because like I thought your gig, the human antidepressant.
Yeah,
I thought that was a very successful show.
Yeah.
You sold out. If anything, I think that was a show that made you stand out. You had your own. It's like you had your own little special.
You were probably there on the best night from a comedian perspective, probably the best night of my life. Because we did sell out that night, and I was going to get to this, and we lost focus. But part of the reason I'm doing this thing is you did that Wakanda special. That was really good, which is on YouTube. Watch more of the channel. Gotta plug the stuff. But. Then you filmed. I asked you because your editing and everything was so quick. You filmed my show, The Human Antidepressant, which I did in the Adelaide Fringe, and it had sold out in a Hell's Kitchen under Rhino's Room, which is a 36-seater, and we had 38 people there, including you. and you set up a camera at one end, and you were in the corner with the other camera.
The other camera didn't capture the shot that I wanted. I was so pissed off.
Well, it was because you were trapped because there were so many people in there. Just the way, not that there was many people, but it was such a small room that you were stuck in the corner. You couldn't go check on the camera.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Which was unfortunate, but that's fine. The footage I got, by the way, like I made a reel of one of those things, and it went really well. I was like, because it looks good.
Well, I'm happy that I can help. You know, I mean, like for any comedians that want their stuff filmed, I'm happy to do it.
Definitely. You definitely should promote that, especially with a lot of the open micers you've been interviewing.
I'm trying. Well, I'm trying to. Right now, I just finished recently, about over a month ago. I just finished a course, and to open up my own business. And my financial plan has been approved, and my business plan has been approved. So I have a meeting tomorrow with a mentor to actually help me get the business underway. You know, so websites, business cards, all the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
So right now, I'm just kind of, even with this podcast, I'm just this is like another way of promoting that I am a filmmaker, that this is done by Fame Film Agency. I founded Fame Film Agency. And I'm just hoping, that's why my slogan at the end is I'm broke, bitch, because I am broke. I actually kind of stole that from Dave Chappelle at the end of it. He goes, I'm rich, bitch, because he was successful and rich. I'm like the exact opposite of Dave's success. So, so that's why I put broke instead.
There's a lot of demand for good filmmakers right now because everybody wants to promote what they're doing, but they can't make it look good.
Well, the thing is, people are more interested in the content than they are of the quality of that content. That's why you see so many people filming sketches or whatever with their phones, and they're filming it in a portrait way, and they're playing two different characters but they're the same person, and they don't even change their shirts, and they're changing, but if it's funny, it's funny. If it's watchable, it's watchable.
I agree.
It's fine. Like you can't, it's hard to compete. I work my ass off putting sketches together, and if I'm lucky, I'll probably get 1,000 to 2,000 views. But somewhere around the world, in another place in the world, there's a 12-year-old person or a group of teenagers that will take a bottle and try to flip it to land straight, and that gets like 100,000 to 1 million views.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Though.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Like, have you tried doing that? It's really hard.
No, I've done it. All right,
but you should have filmed it and put it on Instagram. You'd have 1 million views.
But do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. All this creative thought, and somebody just goes, hey, and it's 1 million views, and like, oh damn, how am I going to compete with that?
Yeah.
But no. But the thing is, I'm a graduate in filmmaking.
But you still have something that you're proud of at the end of the day, which is the most important.
I'm happy. But when I film sketches or whatever, it has to be done professional. It has to be done the way you would see it on TV. Like you would never see a Dave Chappelle sketch filmed with a freaking phone. You know what I mean? This guy was.
Well, let's see how his career goes.
Oh, no, his career is fine. There's nothing wrong with this man. I
love Mark Maron's canceling him. Who knows? He might be filming cell phone videos in retirement.
I think Dave Chappelle is on the list of uncancelable. Just like the creators of South Park. Yeah. You cannot cancel these people. They've tried and they've lost every time.
But it also goes to show that all these media companies that have come out and pretended like that they're woke and that they're about progressive values, at the end of the day, if you have somebody who's so commercially successful, suddenly they don't care about these values they pretend to hold. It's like, oh, well, we can't cancel South Park or we can't cancel Chappelle because this is making us a lot of money.
It's making a lot of money. Well, look, they tried canceling Jimmy Kimmel very recently.
Yeah.
All right, and Disney lost 3.6 billion within 3 days. After they cancelled him?
Well, when you talk about the bottle flipping video being frustrating that's popular, I feel the same way about Jimmy Kimmel.
Look, at the end, you don't have to like the guy. I mean, not everybody is a fan. People probably prefer Fallon. To me, David Letterman will still be the king of...
There's no good late-night show host. Like, Conan was the last good one, and the rest of them are just...
Conan was terrific. Conan belonged to the era of Jay Leno and Letterman.
Yeah.
He's
better than Leno.
But
Letterman.
But the thing is, Leno was still good.
Yeah.
It's better than these two, better than Fallon and Kimmel.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, this is like I'm saying, generations changing, people are changing, so they have to have new ones to cater to the new people.
And I think these talk show hosts like Fallon and Kimmel are so transparent that the way that the media landscape has changed, the Tonight Show, when it was Jay Leno, it was more about the guests, it was more about the games, it was more about the stories. But as like social media has taken off, when Fallon fell in, it became more about like internet trends and like doing what's trendy, and all the stuff that goes viral with Fallon is like just basically like interviewing the Costco guys or trying to mimic a famous TikTok trend. And because Fallon is so transparent, it doesn't matter. You don't need a big personality. You just need somebody who can get the audience to look at the latest internet thing. So it's, I think, indicative. The death of late night is indicative of how we consume content. It's very different. You need a short form kind of.
And Fallon fucks it up every time by laughing during his. He's like the only comedian or talk show that is laughing at his own jokes. He's laughing at his own punchlines as he's saying them, kind of thing. You know, he's always had that reputation on SNL.
Well, he's probably just a very depressed man.
Oh, either that, or he's just not very good at keeping it together. You know, because there are actors. Like I don't know if you ever saw the sketch. There was a sketch on SNL where Christopher Walken was the host, and it was and he was a music producer. It's called More Cowbell. Have you heard of the Cowbell?
Yeah, that's a classic.
Right,
I love that
sketch.
one. Yeah.
All right. Now, the way Christopher Walken and even Will Ferrell, how they kept it together, even Chris Kattan was smiling, but Fallon was breaking every single time.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it added to the sketch to make it more funny. It did make it more funny, but the thing is, he's got that reputation of breaking character almost every single time.
Yeah, I think from a comedy purist point of view, it's like you got to do it. If every comedian actor is doing it straight face, you've got to keep it straight face. However, there's some people who do it's like an invitation. To laugh.
It does. I think sometimes it can backfire in the way that if he didn't laugh, it probably wouldn't have been as funny.
Yeah,
but the thing, it just showed how cool and calm Christopher Walken was.
Yeah,
right. Looking at a laughing Fallon and just keeping it together, and I think the more he kept it together, the more Fallon was breaking.
But as you criticize Fallon for laughing at his own jokes, but you know who's the king of strategic laughter is Dave Chappelle.
He doesn't laugh at his own joke. I mean, he does sometimes, but he does it as like a pause.
He has a technique though. What he will do is he'll run up to a punchline and then he'll pretend he's thinking of it. He'll laugh. And then he'll say it. And it's usually something really edgy or shocking, but he's giving the audience permission to laugh.
But that's strategic.
It is, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fallon is just fucking up. He's dropping the ball.
Maybe he's just a complete insane person who thinks that a strategy too. And it's worked for him. Well, can't argue.
But you see all these comments that when has Jimmy Fallon never laughed at this, or why does he keep breaking that? I mean, it's that people are seeing it as a flaw. But is it a flaw or is it a strategy? It's kind of hard, but one thing is for certain, when you can definitely tell the difference in styles between Fallon and Kimmel, because they are so different in how they do things. They got the same job. They have the exact same job, but they're doing it in a different way completely.
The main style is that Kimmel milks the Trump stuff and Fallon has avoided it completely. And they have completely different audiences.
Well, one's brave and one doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think better to look at it.
I feel like Fallon's like a Labrador. He doesn't even know what's going on, He's just like, as long as I get back to my trailer and my cocaine, I'm happy.
I think he's happy with his job right now.
Yeah.
And he wants to keep it for as long as he can.
Yeah.
All right, Jackson, here's a question I'd like to ask you. If you can do your comedy for any audience in history, which time period would you choose?
So I watched the last podcast you did, and I was thinking like Nazi Germany.
Fucking hell! So I'm not the only one.
You said it.
I'm not the only one. Agostina said that the other day.
But I think it's, for you were saying, because it's such a challenge, because they're such serious people and it's such a tense time.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be really easy to know what would make them laugh.
Well, because the thing is, right, like I could, in those days, you know how today everybody's making fun of political figures.
Yeah.
Right? Just imagine if somebody who followed Hitler's speech, who did a Hitler impression, would he have finished that set or would he have been shot halfway through it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. But I do think that would probably be the most toughest crowd. And if you can win that crowd over, you're destined for success. I mean, how could you fail anywhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. But what if your time machine doesn't work and then you're trapped there? And you're like, oh, well, now I know I'm a good comedian, but I'm stuck in Nazi Germany.
That's
and I'm
okay.
in Dresden.
That's okay. I'll know what to invest my money in. So I'll be cool.
Yeah,
I'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
Invest in a bomb shelter. That's what.
Okay.
No, I would actually say though that I think right now is a really good time to do
of
comedy.
course.
Like,
we're fortunate.
the world is so crazy.
But, dude, when had the world never been crazy? When had the world never been crazy?
But it's so crazy, and everybody knows about it. So you can joke about so many things. I think in the age of the television, in like the 70s and 80s, we knew about a few things. Like you would talk about like, oh, the Soviet Union is so kooky and the Cold War and whatnot. But now it's like there's so much stuff going on. And in one way, it's bad to do observational comedy because everyone's in their own echo chambers on social media, so not everyone's going to understand the references you throw out, but also there's so much news that you can pick apart, and it only takes a couple of sentences to educate people to the point of here comes the satire, here comes the lampooning. I think there's just so much source for comedy now.
I don't think that it ever ran out, you know. I mean, people keep saying, oh, there's more killings today than there were so many years ago. I said, that's not entirely true. You know, there's always been killings. Actually, the further you go back, the higher the body count was. You know, it's just like when people say things like, "Oh, the world's getting worse," my answer is the world hasn't changed. It's always been like this.
I think there are more probably. Comparatively, there might be like more deaths in war, but there's a lot less deaths from disease or famine or, you know.
We have had some amazing technological advances that has improved the efficiency of life. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
If you look at a picture of a 50-year-old person 50 years ago, they look like 110.
Yeah.
You look at a 70-year-old, they look like they did back. They look like 100 back in those days. You know, it has changed.
They didn't know what 100 was, but they looked it.
You know, but all I'm saying is, my point is, the world hasn't changed in terms of its ugliness.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
it's just human nature coming out in different ways, but we have the technology to do more devastating things.
We're just distracting ourselves more from the harshness of the reality. That's why with all these gadgets that we have, even this podcast is a distraction, and we're talking about it, and it's still kind of a distraction.
Well, that's why I like dark comedy. Like I like to joke about a lot of stuff to remind people about the effed up world that we're lived in, because. Yes, it can be, tragedy is a good source of comedy, but also I feel that if you've got someone's attention, like, and this is why I don't like storytelling comics, you know? No, but every style's fine, but my thing is I like to rub people in the ugliness of human nature because it's dark comedy. Tragedy is such a good source of comedy, but also I want to remind people not to get too comfortable because we've got to help each other. And that's why I think there's no like taboo when it comes to comedy. Like I like to joke about. I did a couple of jokes last night that were just. I had a gig last night, but I had one because you are. I don't want to get too political, but as far as sources of comedy, I know you're a very big advocate for the Palestinian struggle at the moment, and that's why.
That's actually when I started this podcast, I wanted to talk about arts and comedy and music.
Yeah,
and. Without any fault of my own, it just steered into the political direction.
Oh, it's unavoidable.
You know, because, you know, you can't not talk about this kind of stuff. And the only reason why I couldn't continue it as much as I would want to is that there are so many people out there that want to talk about this, but they're afraid to talk about this because they have jobs. And if their employers saw them talk about this, they could jeopardize their career.
Yeah.
You know, like I got offered a job 8 months ago. And they saw some of my videos and they wanted me to give them my YouTube channel. So I gave them my YouTube channel. So when they saw that I did the podcast, I got an email that says, and I quote, "We cannot hire you because you are a pro-Palestinian supporter." That was a direct quote. And I was like, I gave them a call. I said, "It's okay. I'm so happy that you told me this. I'm so thankful that you told me this because maybe that's the reason why I haven't been getting hired by other people, but they just never said it. But you did. Yeah. I'm so thankful. But in the future, don't. Because that's just as bad as you saying to somebody, I can't hire you because you're a homosexual, or I can't hire you because you are a Muslim, or I can't hire you because you're from this country. Just don't say it anymore. I'm not going to do anything. I can sue you if I want to, but I'm not that guy. Right? I'm going to say something very stereotypical. I ain't broke, I ain't white, and I'm not a Jew. I'm not going to sue you. All right? So you're cool. All right? But I was just, at the end, I was just like, I felt this relief. Thank God. Because I knew that I wasn't going to get hired because of my ethnicity. That's why I left the country to begin with. I got fresh out of college. No one would hire me. I made a movie myself All right? And I got a job offer from Bahrain, of all places. And I went. And I did my thing there for 16 years. They told me I wasn't experienced enough. I got 16 years experience. I came back. You're too experienced, and you're too old. But you're experienced, but you're too old. We need the new ones. We need the young ones. So when I was young, they didn't need the young ones. Now that I'm experienced, they want the young ones. It's just messed up. I just think it's the reason. Just don't make me say it. You fucking Lebanese choco. Just say it. Just fucking say it. And I'll respect the person for saying it because I need to know now where I stand.
Yeah.
Don't give us that false hope thing that we can make it, that we can get it.
Yeah.
And when you know that we can't even touch it. But fuck that.
I think it's very interesting because you would be a fan of pizza, Fat Pizza with Paul Fennick?
I was at their show.
Yeah.
And I got up on stage.
Oh, was that the one this Fringe?
No. This was back in 2001.
Yeah.
When they first started getting popular.
Yeah.
2001.
Wow.
Right? The Paulie character, he was interviewing people.
Yeah.
And he came across me because he saw my massive monobrow, like I told you about. And he goes, get a look at this guy's fucking monobrow. All right? So he goes, how did you get a monobrow like that? And then I adapted what he does on his show. Yeah. And he goes, oh, it's a funny story, you see. Like, I'll tell you why. I can whack this, but I don't. Because you see, my great-grandfather, he had a hamburger place in Lebanon called Muhammad's.
Yeah.
All right. And then these two American guys came and they loved Muhammad so much that they went back to America and they called it McDonald's. you know what I mean? All right. All right. We are the one that came up with the old 2 beef patty sauce and cheese. You know what I mean? All right.
Yeah.
So as a reminder of getting robbed and fucked in the ass from all the millions that we deserve, I keep this monobrow and by doing this, you actually see the M.
Yeah.
All right. As an honor to us owning McDonald's. All right. And he laughed so hard. He talked to me after stage. I didn't think, dude, can I write something for you? I didn't even think that because I was in uni. Yeah. I was thinking I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be this.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me to do comedy because the guy said to me, "You're funny, man. You just came on like that on the spot. Most people don't even know what the fuck to say."
Yeah.
And Paulie and I we met after the show, all right, and we took pictures. I got the pictures upstairs. You know what? I'm going to show the picture here once I find it. All right, and we were talking after the show, and we lost contact. I never talked to him again. But I think maybe, just maybe, I could have had a part as part of that show.
I could see you as a character on Pizza.
Right?
Yeah. That's a great honor, though.
I really could have done it.
Yeah.
And so there was that. I also met George. I keep forgetting how to say his last name. George Caprianis, the guy that played Nemo in Acropolis Now.
Yeah.
And we've been staying in touch from time to time. And he said, I can't guarantee, but he did say the next time he's in Adelaide, it's going to be here where Jackson Grant is sitting. He said he wants to be in this podcast.
Coming soon.
But the thing is, it was on the cards, but I didn't even think it could be possible, so I never gave it any attention.
Yeah.
All right. And I can kick myself for it right now because maybe I could have been something in that comedy game at an early age. But you just play the card God dealt you. So it's all good.
Because you reminded me when you were just saying that, like you were saying, oh well, there's no room for like Lebanese comics in this kind of racist.
No, I didn't say there's no room for Lebanese comics. I'm saying no. I'm saying that it was very difficult for me as a Lebanese or anybody of any color to try to get a job. In a white man's world. You know what I mean? Right? That's what I'm talking about. I want to if I want to be somebody in corporate, if I want to be somebody in an office, I want to be as a stockbroker or whatever. It's hard to get into.
But Paul Fennick, how he got that show is he entered the original Pizza short in Tropfest.
Yeah.
But he didn't put his name. Instead, the director name that he put was Maria Goldstein.
There you go. See? right? It's so true when you pretend to be a Jew. Yeah. That's when things will work out for you. You know? Seriously. And no. At least I'm so glad that this came out from a white person. I didn't have to say it. So now you know I ain't freaking crazy. There is a conspiracy going on.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Jackson, finish the following sentence. Comedy is.
Oh, that's a terrible question.
I told you I was going to hit you with someone.
No, but it's just a bad question. We're having a conversation, then
suddenly... No, it's not, it's not a question. Just finish the sentence.
Comedy is real.
Well, there
Comedy
you go.
Israel.
Well, there's nothing funny about that, but yes.
Because I was going to tell you a couple of jokes I wrote about Israel. I just wanted to run them past you.
Oh, no, I've got, yeah.
He's got too many job opportunities.
And we have a joke about Israel, and it's very controversial and it's very offensive, but that's the whole point.
I wanted to tell you that because you filmed my Fringe show, The Human Antidepressant.
Yeah.
What did you think of my show?
It was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You put a lot of effort into it. You know, the whole announcement at the beginning. You know what I mean? Right? The little intermission, the little dancing thingy. You put on a show. You put on a show.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you made it exciting. You interacted with the crowd at the beginning. I thought all rounder. I thought it was very, very good. You know, and I'm surprised you're not touring. Did you tour this show around?
I took it to Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was so depressing that because the plan was to go to this year. I think this time last year I was like, I'm going to do Adelaide Fringe, then I'm going to do Melbourne, then I'm going to do Edinburgh, then I'm going to do Sydney. And I got to Adelaide, then Melbourne, and I was so exhausted that I was like, I might do Sydney, but I'm not going to do Edinburgh. And now it's just like so much stuff is happening like in my life where it's very hard, it's very expensive. But I think next year is going to be the year I really I'm writing another hour called Joke Addict at the moment. So that's going to be in next year's Adelaide Fringe program. I'm going to Melbourne in a week to do some spots as well. So I'm going to get more stuff, but I will be touring when I feel I'm ready.
Okay, that's great. Do you ever consider having an opening act for your show? Like, don't you think it would probably add something to it? You know, like I think if you had an opening act, it'll make you look more superior. No, it's not superior is the wrong word to use. You know, that you're the main event. You know what I mean? People are coming to see the main event, and the opening act is like an appetizer before they get the big meal.
Well, one of my friends, I was going to have an opener for my show this year, but it was going to be my friend Kane, who is he's in the army. He's a truck driver and trainer in the army, but he used to be very obsessed with wrestling. There was a few guys who were like pro wrestling and stuff. And this was an idea I had before Scotty the Body came along and did his pro wrestling comedy stuff. But I wanted to start a show where I came out with a WWE replica championship belt, playing like the New World Order theme, like strutting around, going like, and I do a tight five all about wrestling jokes. Now, I don't know anything about pro wrestling. I haven't watched wrestling. I actually stopped watching WWE when I was a kid because I think I was 10. It was my 10th birthday party, and I had a T-shirt which had like John Cena and Dave Bautista and Rey Mysterio. And my uncle said, "Oh, Jacko, why do you have a bunch of shirtless men on your thing, or a bunch of naked men on your shirt?" And I was so embarrassed that I stopped watching wrestling.
I think the last wrestling match I ever watched was Hulk Hogan versus Andary the Giant.
Yeah,
that was the last one I remember watching.
That's showing your age.
Yeah, exactly right. That's how saying how old you are without actually saying how old you are.
But I had this whole idea where I was going to do 5 minutes of just jokes about wrestling, even though I don't know anything about wrestling. And then I was going to say, I'm just fucking with you. Like, this isn't a wrestling show. But I wanted people to think that I accidentally walked into a comedy show all about wrestling. And then I had the idea to have my friend Kane do it instead. So I was going to have him as an opener, just telling wrestling jokes and strutting around and stuff. But we scrapped that because he moved to Brisbane.
Okay.
But but my idea of having an opener is a lot of comedians talk about they don't want to have an opener that's funnier than them, which I think is terrible. You want to have an opener that's funnier than you.
Fucking hell. You see, now, what is the problem with these people that they are so threatened that they're not sabotaging, but at the same time, they're not giving them a well-deserved shot.
Well, they're called comedians, but yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, but, look, if there are so many comedians out there that are much funnier than I am. I can tell you that right now. I'm okay. Yeah. I don't think I'm okay. I do have an audience that actually loves my shit. All right, but when I see a comedian that's amazing, my first reaction is, I want to work with this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Or I want to work with this woman. I need to work with these people. All right. The exact opposite happens. Oh, this guy's funny. Don't let him in the next show. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of comedians, they think like they're the funniest person in the room. And I think that, but that happens in all arts. Like, you know, People get protective. It's shitty, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean, like, 'cause, like, I would like to open up for somebody for their show one day. It'd be awesome. Okay,
It's the way to get fans, I think, open for a big act. But that's the thing about the online thing and why we need Majid Services, Fame Film Agency.
By the way, I didn't pay him to say that.
You need well filmed stuff to get reels to get noticed online. So it's kind of the thing of the world. It's a bit of a trap where you have to be a good stand-up comedian and a social media manager in the 21st century.
Well, you know, the thing is, you have to be everything these days. You can't just do the one thing. Like, when I got my first job in filmmaking, I was just an editor.
Yeah,
I was just doing editing. Later on, I realized I had to be a filmmaker and an editor and a writer and a producer and a director and sometimes an actor in my own fucking shit that I'm writing.
Yeah.
All right? It's like you would never ask a brain surgeon to be also know how to do heart surgery. You know what I mean? Everybody has
cuts.
What I'm saying is everybody has their profession.
Yeah.
Right? This guy is the master of the brain surgery.
Yeah.
Right? And this guy's the master of the heart surgery. The people in medical field can't say, we need somebody that can do both. Motherfucker doesn't work that way, and it should be like that with everything else, you know.
Yeah, I think the secret is to surround yourself with people that, and yes, sure, sometimes in the arts people get a little bit defensive, but like you just need to find a collective, and you can really make something great. I think when you put a few people together.
If anyone's watching this episode, I am always looking for comedy writers and actors, mainly actors, but I like to brainstorm ideas because I just keep writing and. The thing is, I've been out of touch with Australia for so long after being absent for 16 years. So, you'll have more knowledge on what's funny.
I saw your last Tide 5 and you were just doing John Howard jokes the entire time. So,
did I?
Yeah, he is out of touch.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on here no more. Okay, now, let's get into some existential questions here. If you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. If humor disappeared from the world overnight, how do you think the people will cope?
I think we'd get to Mars immediately.
So we can have humor there?
Yeah, we would conquer... Well, no, we would just conquer the solar system and be unstoppable.
Yeah.
People wouldn't be watching Family Guy reels on their phone all the time, and they'd be like, "Okay, let's get up and do something."
Roadhouse. I watched that episode just the other day. Okay. Is comedy more for you? Is comedy more about connecting with people, or is it a way for you to escape from people?
That's a good question, and that's the first time you've been making sense all night. No, that is a really good because. It does feel like you're not connecting with people when you're up on stage. It is because when you go on stage, you're putting on a persona, you're putting on an act, and I think there's actually nothing more antisocial than telling a whole room full of people to shut up while you hog the spotlight and just talk. And I think yesterday I was at a friend's birthday party because we had a grand final party and. I had to do a test run of, I didn't have to, but they wanted me to perform some comedy, so I did some new jokes for them. But standing up in front of you've just been having a conversation with people you know, like having a connection and community, and then you stand up, take 2 steps back, and then go into your comedy persona. And it is very antisocial. It is. Yeah. So I actually would lean towards the escapism thing. I think that most stand-up comedians are quite introverted. They can't handle a lot of social things, and people are like, how do you do it? And it's like, because you don't lose that, you're not getting that drain doing comedy. It's just like you're talking to yourself, really.
So you kind of like lose yourself on stage.
Yeah. So I think, there's community around comedians, 100%. It's a great way to make friends. And I've definitely made a lot of friends doing comedy over the years. I think Adelaide particularly has a very warm and welcoming community. But I think the actual act of performing and stand-up itself is inherently antisocial in a weird way.
Okay. Just one more existential question before we get towards the end. When you're on stage, do you feel you are more yourself or less yourself?
A couple of years... I don't know if I still feel this way, but I remember a couple of years ago I was saying to someone that the only time that I feel okay is when I'm on stage, which is to say that it's a very much it's a safe environment because there's only one of two things that can happen on stage. You either bomb or you crush.
Yeah.
It's a binary thing. I mean, yeah, you could get, glassed or something, but most of the time it's one of two things. So I think once you get over the butterflies and whatever of performing, it's a really like fun thing to do. It's easier than just like life.
Yeah, no, of course.
It's a real good, it's good to just have a few minutes a week when you can just go up and whatnot. But I don't know if I'm more myself. I think I've actually struggled finding what my comedy persona is. And I think most comedians, they have influences and they mimic those influences until they are confident enough in their own voice to act as they are. So I think most people starting comedy aren't actually themselves. I'm very, very close to getting to there. But when I started, I was very influenced by Brad Hollis, which is a bit of a left field one. But he's an Adelaide comedian who used to do this stoner sketch comedy on YouTube. He had this channel called Next Level Vibrations. And when I started doing stand-up comedy, it was kind of because I'd met him and he's a very like awkward guy. But the fact I was like, if he can do stand-up comedy, then I can finally do stand-up comedy. Because I put off performing for so long, like years. I was so anxious. And I went up and I was very inspired by his style. So I was kind of aping his style a bit. And you find that I'm very influenced by different kind of comedians that I see. So I really have to try and lean into my own style. So I wouldn't say I'm myself on stage at all. And I think a lot of comedians are kind of working it out. I've been influenced by a lot of comedians, a lot of others too, like Shane Gillis. He was influenced by Louis C.K. and Louis C.K. was probably influenced by Caligula with all the public masturbation he does. But I think that really, yeah, you're not truly yourself until you hit a stage and then you are yourself. But, there are some beautiful liars out there.
Oh, definitely. So, Jackson, which historical figure do you think would make an excellent comedian?
Oh, that's a good one. Which, it's funny. My girlfriend was listening to the previous episode and she said that Margaret Thatcher would be really funny as a historical figure.
The Iron Lady?
Yeah, exactly. I think she would be really funny behind the scenes as well. Like she's such a bitch, But I think the best comedians are the meanest people. So you really would have to have some real people. I'd just probably say Maggie Thatcher. Who else? That is a good question. It would be a good.
She thought it would be Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, she thought it was, and I agree with her. I'm trying to think. There's not really a funny answer to that because I think it's
not about finding an answer that's funny. It's just that who do you think can make a historical figure that would be really good on stage? I personally think JFK would have killed an open mic.
Yeah, he probably would have been killed in open mic.
He got killed not doing open mic, but he would have killed. He would have murdered. Because the way he handled the press,
if he had murdered doing open mic, he would have still been alive today.
Yeah, maybe the way he handled the press, he would have blown everybody else's brains out on stage.
Yeah,
because the way he handled the press, he did it with such eloquence and humor. It was like a show.
Yeah,
it was like a freaking comedy show. He was really good at it.
Oh, you know who would have been a really good comedian? Paul Keating, I think, would have been a good comedian. He was
former prime minister.
Yeah, he was very funny in Parliament. So
okay, well that's an answer. Yeah. That's an answer, and it is a historical figure, not a famous one, but famous enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we have reached the point where I'm going to ask you a series of 10 questions, Jackson.
Okay.
Now, these questions were
viewer voted.
Selected.
The fans have put these in the comments section for the Jackson Grant. What they've wanted to know, what they've been dying to know about this aspiring comedian in Adelaide.
Well, there was an American writer / actor named James Lipton. Have you heard of James Lipton?
Oh, he made the tea.
That was Lipton tea. Yeah, no. He had a show called Inside the Actor Studio.
Yeah.
And he was inspired by these 10 questions from a previous journalist that he admired named Bernard Pivot. Now, here we go. Are you ready for these series?
Yeah.
10 questions.
Yeah. Just 10.
Yeah.
Not 11.
No. And 10 exactly.
Okay.
No, there's no 9/11 questions on this one.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Jackson, what is your favorite word?
Arugula. That's the American
vegetable.
It's the American term for rocket. I really love arugula.
Yeah, arugula.
I saw some comedy show where
it's
they did this
vegetable
riff on arugula, and I find it so funny. And I wrote a joke about arugula. I said my idea of a personal hell would be being forced to eat arugula. and being so dehydrated that I couldn't say the word arugula. And that would suck because that's my favorite word. And it's one of the worst jokes I've ever told.
No, that's fine. I love rocket. All right.
You're a rocket man.
Yes, all the way.
It's going to be a long, long time.
Yes. Very
long. Woolworths has another recall of toxic salad mix. Woolworths had a terrible scandal a few years ago. Anyway.
Okay, no.
I think they've broken glass in their green mixed salad. It's a PR disaster they've never recovered from. Anyway.
All right, let's go to the opposite. What is your least favorite word?
How do you say arugula backwards? Agurala. It's not a real word.
Not a real word.
It doesn't roll off the tongue as well as arugula. Agurala.
Do you have a least favorite word?
No, I don't know.
Okay, well, a lot of people say no, but it's fine. Now, this is not a sexual question, and a lot of people think it is. What turns you on?
No, that's definitely not a sexual question. I know what you mean. It's like what gets you in a really good mood. I don't know, like just that kind of bickies and tea or something. A very white person.
Okay.
I don't know, just
how white of you?
Yeah, no, okay. Something that's like comforting. Yeah.
Okay. What turns you off?
What turns me off? I've got so many pet peeves. I hate so many things. I can't think of one off the top of my head. People who get to the front of queues and they don't know what they want, or I don't know.
Oh yeah, I've had that.
People with yappy dogs.
Yeah.
You know, I had a yappy dog. I was in I lived for a few years in an upstairs apartment, and I was overlooking a yard, and they had these two really yappy dogs that they'd never take for walks, so they'd always be barking. And I wanted to like trebuchet some chocolate into the backyard to kill the dog. Oh, no. I've never, ever thought about killing animals before, but this was the one time where I'm like, it's a perfect crime. I couldn't be pinned for this, even though, you know, I can throw whatever I want over there. But I think, you know, just stop murdering your neighbours' animals. Have a conversation with your neighbours today.
Okay, let's get down and dirty. I want to see. I'm very curious to hear what you say. Answer this question.
You could not get a more controversial answer than dog murder.
No. What is your favourite curse word?
Curse word? A slur's a curse word.
Slur?
Yeah, I love slurs. I love the edgier the better.
Okay.
But, yeah.
What is it? Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
What?
What sound or noise do you love?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
Yeah, that one's
okay. That's good. Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Other than my own, someone just walked in and threw me off. Anyway, what profession other than my own? Well, I have another profession, so I do comedy and I also work in IT. So I like computing.
Okay.
I definitely am working on getting better with network administration.
Okay. What profession would you not like to do?
That's a good question. What would I not like to do? Podcast interviewer. Next question.
Okay, fair enough. You lucky bastard. All right. The final question is: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You're funny.
Well, there you go. I think every comedian would like to hear that. Exactly. Well, there you have it. Well, that was my guest, Jackson Grant. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, please be sure to subscribe and follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and click that subscribe button on Majid and Andary on YouTube. And until next time, guys, take care.
And follow me on Jackson Grant is me on Instagram and.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. I already put it there.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I took it there. Yeah, no, that's all taken care of.
All right.
Cool. Until next time, guys. Tune in to the next episode.
Stay beautiful.